So how about those first few weeks' numbers, huh, guys? I mean, I've been seeing articles out there that claim that the worldwide Yokai Watch has shipped over 10 million units. However, that is a ridiculously deceiving tagline because not only does that include every single game that has been made for Yokai Watch, including Busters, which is what we'll be talking about today, but it uses the word shipped, not the word sold. I honestly believe that 1 million units have been shipped to retailers, but that doesn't mean that that translates directly into sales. The only numbers I've seen that actually give sales numbers is a little over 33,000 units over the course of 3 weeks. Now, it is from VG Charts, so take that with a grain of salt, but even 10 grains of salt, it's kind of hard to ignore those kinds of numbers. It's a very disappointing launch, and Nintendo has been very cagey with the numbers, which is why Level 5 is launching such obscure titles for their articles to say how well the game has sold. The thing is, Nintendo of America actually managed to get people so sick of Yokai Watch that the fandom was in open rebellion over it. I mean, if you look at the first ad for Yokai Watch, it's got a fair number of likes and a few dislikes. If you look at the next commercial they put out on YouTube, same number of likes, 10 times as many dislikes. That should have set off some alarm bells. So, and the fact that first week was about 21,000 units, second week was a little under 7,000, and the third week was a little over 5,000, which means that even the good press the game got after it came out has so far had no effect. Now, I haven't seen how the game sold on Black Friday yet. However, I've seen other games like Splatoon do fairly well. A lot of other games have been doing way better than Yokai Watch. Splatoon on the same week outsold Yokai Watch even though it's been out for like a year. Super Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, has outsold it 10-1. The week of launch, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 outsold it 300-1. So things aren't looking good in the yokai camp, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about Buster Medals. Now, Buster Medals work with the Yokai Watch U, and I mentioned them in my previous video, but the Yokai Watch U actually does not need an update to run the first set of Buster Medals. Now, the Buster Medals, the first series that I have here, is, it's a lot of it is, as you can see, it's like rare yokai that might be kind of hard to find, like we got QB and Bully Taicho over here. And the thing is with the Buster Medals, not only do they have kind of a different design, but along with their tribe, they actually have a more central focus based on the role they have. Yokai Watch Busters, it's kind of a monster hunting game, kind of mixed with some massive multiplayer online elements in that you have several roles that yokai can take on. You have the attacker role, you have the tank, you have the healer, and you have the ranger. The attacker and the ranger are kind of DPS, with attacker being more straightforward and ranger being more support, I suppose. Tanks are the ones that get the enemy's attention and take all the damage, and healers are pretty self-explanatory. They keep everybody healthy, particularly the attacker and the tank, since the ranger obviously would stay out of harm's way. So this actually has an effect that carries over to the U. It actually causes it to have a different verbal sting when you play it. So we'll start with QB here. So you can see it had an extra sting at the end where it said attacker. So, although I don't really know why QB's the attacker, since he's basically a magic user in the first game, you'd think he'd actually be the ranger, and old Bully Taicho here with his big, strong muscles would be the attacker. And now we have Momotaro Nyan, who is a reference a lot of you probably don't get, Momotaro being kind of a Japanese fairy tale where an old couple finds a boy and a peach and they send him to fight ogres, a bit like Kaguya Hime, only with more violence. And there we have the vocal sting for tank. Next we're going to do Age Ageha, also known as Betterfly. Betterfly is actually kind of an early game breaker because you can make him the instant you get a D rank watch. He's a pretty good healer. I kind of recommend him, although I actually used Riv in my run. But he's the healer. And the added sting for healer. And finally, we have Bully Taicho, who I honestly think is a chance that America has to kind of catch up with Japan, at least as far as the music is concerned, because Bully Taicho is actually based on Billy Blanks, who is an American exercise instructor, and the song he performs in, called Dan Dan Dubi Zuba, is played like an exercise routine, which, unlike the ending song they have now, is actually something all Americans can relate to thanks to Bowflex commercials. So yeah, that's Bully Taicho there. Although, one more thing the Buster Metals did is they introduced a ninth tribe, at least as far as metals are concerned. Now, there is a boss dictionary in the game already, but there hasn't really been metals made that actually have the boss attribute. Most of the boss yokai that later get made into metals receive an attribute, like that big red guy who chases you down is considered a tough type, a Goketsu type. This guy here, however, he has just kind of a slash there, indicating he's not really from any of the usable tribes. So yeah, he doesn't have any lyrics on his vocal sting, but you can tell it had that big, menacing, dark music. So yeah, that's the Buster Metals. They have a new feature, although I don't know if, considering this level of sales we got with the first Yokai Watch, I don't even know if the sequels will be able to get over here. But if any of you collectors out there, the Yokai Watch Busters Metal Series 1 is only 20 medals, and I only managed to get like 2/3 of them with my order. I got a whole ton of duplicates. If anybody's into trading, just feel free to drop me a line and we'll see what we can work out. Until then, this is Kohdok signing off.